Thank you for joining me today. We're learning Berachos Daf Chav Daled. So we're going to start at the bottom of Chav Gimel Amud Beis, 23b4. The Gemara cites a halachic ruling concerning this matter. Amar Rava said, Afagav D'Tanya Tiyufta de Shmuel, although we were taught a ruling in a brisa that is a refutation of Shmuel, Hilchas HaKavaseh, the halacha follows him that one may place its tefillin under his headrest even when his wife is with him. My timer, what is the reason? Whatever is done to protect them from loss is more worthwhile than preserving them from disrespect. Having stated that one may leave tefillin under his headrest, the Gemara proceeds to clarify the exact definition of this location. And specifically, where may one place the tefillin? Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah said, Ben kar lekesses, between the mattress and the pillow, shalo keneged rosho, not directly opposite his head. Rabbi Yirmiyah's statement is challenged. V'ha'tani Rabbi Chia, but Rabbi Chia has taught a brisa which states, Manichan bekova tachas merashos, if one may place the tefillin in a pouch under his headrest. This implies that one may place them directly underneath his head. The Gemara answers, the brisa means that one draws the bulge of the pouch, i.e. the section which actually contains the tefillin, beyond the part of the pillow on which he rests his head. He does not rest directly upon the tefillin. The Gemara presents other options for the nighttime storage of tefillin. Bar Kapara would wrap the tefillin in the curtain surrounding his bed, and would draw their bulge outward, away from the bed. Rav Shisha b'rei de Rav Idi manach lehu sharshifa. Rav Shisha, the son of Rav Idi, would place the tefillin on a stool, uparis sudra ilovayu, and spread a scarf over them. A related incident is cited. Amar Rav Nuna b'rei de Rav Yosef. Rav Nuna, the son of Rav Yosef, said, Zimna chada hava koimna kamei de Rava. I was once standing before Rava, Amali, and he said to me, Zil aiti li tefillin. Go and bring me my tefillin. V'ashkechtini ben kar lekesa shalo keneged rosha. And I found them between the mattress and the pillow of Rava's bed, not directly opposite the place where he rested his head. V'hava yadana the yom tefillah haba. And I knew that it had been the day of immersion, so that his wife had been with him the previous night. It was to teach me the halacha in actual practice, that one may in fact leave his tefillin beneath the pillow even when his wife is with him. That Rav did this and sent me to get his tefillin that day. Having discussed the storage of tefillin in a bed occupied by a married couple, the Gemara now discusses a parallel situation regarding the recital of Shema. Rabbi Yosef, the son of Rabbi Nechunya, asked Rabbi Yehuda, Shnaim she'shenim b'mita achas. If two people are sleeping naked in one bed, Ma'u shezayachzir panav v'yikra kriya Shema. What is the law as to whether this one may turn his face away from the other and recite the Shema? And this one may turn his face away from the other and recite the Shema. (24a2). Rabbi Yehuda answers, Amalei, he said to him, Hachi Amar Shmuel, this is what Shmuel said. Afilu ishto ima, one is permitted to do this even if his wife is with him. A dissenting view. Maskav or Rabbi Yosef objected to Shmuel's statement as follows: Ishto v'lo mibayla achar. You hold that it is permitted with his wife, and that there is not even a need to say that it is permitted with another man. Adarabba, on the contrary, Ishto kagufa, a man's wife is like his own self. Achar lav kagufo, whereas another man is not like his own self. Thus, one is permitted to recite the Shema with his back against another person, only if that person is his wife, and not if it is another man. The Gemara challenges Shmuel's ruling. Meisive, they challenged it as follows: One brisa states if two people are sleeping naked in one bed, this one may turn his face away from the other and recite the Shema. And this one may turn his face away from the other and recite the Shema. And it was taught in another brisa to the contrary: if one is sleeping in a bed, and his sons and other members of his household are at his side, he may not recite the Shema, unless there is a cloak that interposes between them. However, if his sons and other members of his household are minors, it is permitted to recite the Shema even without a cloak between them. Now this is understandable according to Rabbi Yosef, who differentiates between one's wife and another person, but then there is no contradiction between these two brises. This first brisa, which permits one to recite the Shema with his back against another person, refers to one who is with his wife. Whereas this second brisa, which requires a garment between the parties, refers to one who is with another man. Elo Shmuel, Kasha, but according to Shmuel, it does not differentiate between one's wife and another person. There is indeed a contradiction between these brises. The Gemara answers, Amalach Shmuel. Shmuel will say to you, Rabbi Yosef minicha, and is it all right according to Rabbi Yosef? But it was taught in the second brisa, quoted above, how Yashain b'mita, if one is sleeping in a bed, one of uvnei besu b'mita, and his sons and other members of his household are also in the bed, lo yikra kriya Shema, he may not recite the Shema, unless his cloak interposes between them. Now the term members of his household surely includes his wife. The brisa thus forbids one to recite Shema with his back against his wife, which is contrary to Rabbi Yosef's view. So what can you say to defend Rabbi Yosef? You must say that according to Rabbi Yosef, the case of one's wife is a matter of dispute between Tanaim. So then according to me as well, it is not unreasonable to say that the entire issue regarding one's wife or anyone else is a matter of dispute between Tanaim. The Gemara quotes from the brisa cited above. Amar, the master said in the brisa, this one may return his face away and recite the Shema. The Gemara asks, but there is the problem of their buttocks touching each other. The Gemara answers, this brisa supports the ruling of Rav Huna. The Amar Rav Huna, for Rav Huna said, buttocks are not subject to the prohibition of nakedness. The Gemara adduces further support for Rav Huna's position. Let us say that the following Mishnah supports Rav Huna. Hayisha Yesheves v'Kotzalah Chalasa 24a3. A woman may sit on the ground and separate her challah and recite the blessing for this mitzvah even while she is naked. Because she is able to cover her lower face when she sits on the ground. But this is not permitted in the case of a man. This Mishnah permits a woman to make a blessing although her buttocks are exposed. Thus it proves that the buttocks are not treated as nakedness. The Gemara refutes this proof. Tirgamur of Nachman Bar Yitzchak. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak interpreted the Mishnah as referring to a case where her lower face is completely flush against the ground, and hence her buttocks are covered as well. Accordingly, no proof can be drawn from the Mishnah to Rav Huna's ruling, since it does not refer to a case in which the buttocks are exposed. The Gemara analyzes a brisa quoted above. Amar, the master said in the brisa, Im hoyu banav uvnei beis katanim. If his sons and other members of his household are minors, mutter it is permitted to recite the Shema while lying next to them. The Gemara inquires, Vad Kama, until what age are they considered to be minors in this context? The Gemara answers, Amar Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda said, Tinokes bas shalosh shanim v'yom echad, a girl until the age of 3 years and 1 day, v'tinok ben teisha shanim v'yom echad, and a boy until the age of 9 years and 1 day. A dissenting view. Ika the army, others say, Tinokas basachas esrei shana v'yom echad, a girl until the age of 11 years and 1 day, v'tinok ben shtemas esrei shana v'yom echad, and a boy until the age of 12 years and 1 day. Idividi today, however, with regard to both, i.e., a girl who is 11 and a boy who is 12, the prohibition does not apply until they reach the stage described in Scripture as shadaim nachonu u'sa'arech tzimeach, breasts developed and your hair grown. The Gemara quotes a related dialogue. Amalei Rav Kahana Rav Ashi. Rav Kahana said to Rav Ashi, Hasam Amar Rava. There, in the case of one who stores tefillin under his pillow, Rava said, Afagav de tiyufta de Shmuel hilchos tekavaseh de Shmuel. Even though the brisa represents a refutation of Shmuel's ruling, that this was permitted even when one is with his wife. The halacha is in accordance with Shmuel. Hachamai. Here, in the case of two people who recite the Shema while lying back to back, what is the law? Do we accept Shmuel's ruling that this too is permitted, even when one is with his wife? Rav Ashi answers, Amalei, he said to Rav Kahana, Atukulu kechada machta machtinu. Have you woven them all in the same weave? Elahecha de itmar, rather where it was stated that we follow Shmuel, it was stated, Vecha de lo itmar. And where it was not stated, it was not stated. The Gemara raises an inquiry. Amalei Rav Mari le Rav Papa. Rav Mari asked Rav Papa, Sheor yotze bevigdo ma'u. If public hair is protruding out of one's garment, what is the law? May someone recite the Shema with the hair in his view? Rav Mari answers, Rav Papa Karale. He stated in reference to him, Seir, hair, i.e., it is of no consequence. The Gemara discusses another situation in which the Shema may not be recited. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak said, Tefach b'isha erva, a tefach of exposed skin in a woman is considered nakedness. The Gemara clarifies this statement. Lamai, regarding what was this stated? If you say that it was stated with regard to the prohibition against gazing at a woman, this cannot be. 24a4. V'ha amar Rav Sheshis. For Rav Sheshis has said, Lama mana hakasaf tachshitin shebachutz and tachshitin shebifnim. Why did Scripture list the outer jewelry together with the inner jewelry? Lama to teach you that. Kol mistaka be'etzba ketana shalisha, whoever gazes at even the little finger of a woman, kil mistaka b'mkom atorf, is like one who gazes at the place of her nakedness. Since the prohibition of gazing at a woman applies even to her little finger, this cannot be the prohibition to which Rabbi Yitzchak refers when he speaks of a tefach. El be'ishto v'likriya shema. Rather, we must say that Rabbi Yitzchak's statement was made in reference to one's wife and the recital of the Shema. The Gemara continues to define nakedness. Amar Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda said, Shok v'isha erva. The thigh of a woman is considered nakedness. Shenemar, as it is stated, Gali shok ivri naris. Expose a thigh and cross rivers. And it is written in the next verse, Tigal ervasech v'gam teroah cherpasech. Your nakedness will be exposed, and also your embarrassment will be seen. Amar Shmuel said, Kol be'isha erva. The voice of a woman is considered nakedness. Shenemar, as it is stated, Ki kolech orevu mari nove. For your voice is sweet and your countenance comely. Rav Sheshes said, Sheir B'Isha Erva, 24a5. The hair of a woman is considered nakedness. Shenamar, as it stated, Sarich Ke'eder Izim, your hair is like the flock of goats. The Gemara now returns to the topic of tefillin. Reb Chanina testifies as to Rebbe's practice with his tefillin. Amar Rabbi Chanina, Reb Chanina said, Ani Reisias Rabbi Shetala Tefillah, I once saw Rebbe suspend his tefillin from a peg. This testimony is challenged. Meisvei, they challenged it from a brisa which states, Hatola Tefillin Yitolu Lo Chayav. One who suspends his tefillin, his life will be suspended. Darshei Chamuro Samru, the interpreters of the hidden meaning in the verses stated, this warning is alluded to in the following verse, and your life will be suspended before you. This refers to one who suspended his tefillin. We see that one is prohibited to suspend tefillin. How can you say that Rebbe did so? The Gemara answers, Lo kasha, there is no difficulty. This brisa refers to a case in which the tefillin are suspended by the strap, which is prohibited. This testimony, however, concerns a case in which Rebbe hung the tefillin by the box, which is permitted. V'iba is saying, or if you prefer, you may say, Lo shna ritzua v'lo shna k'tzia asur. There is no difference between suspending the tefillin by the strap or suspending them by the box. In either case, it is forbidden to suspend them. V'chitala Rebbe b'kistatala. But where Rebbe suspended his tefillin, he suspended them by their pouch. He did not, however, suspend the tefillin themselves. His action was therefore permissible. The Gemara questions this latter explanation. Ihachi, if it is so, i.e. that Rebbe only suspended his tefillin by their covering, then why must Reb Chanina testify to his doing so? It is obvious that one may suspend tefillin in this manner. The Gemara answers, you might have said that tefillin should require placement upon an object as does a Torah scroll. Reb Chanina therefore must inform us that so long as the tefillin are not themselves suspended, but are only suspended by their covering, one may hang them from a peg. It is not necessary to place them upon an object. The Gemara cites further testimony from Reb Chanina concerning Rebbe's practice during the Shemona Esrei. Reb Chanina said, Ani Reisias Rabbi Shagihek v'Amar Shagihek. I saw that during his prayer Rebbe belched. Ufiek yon v'nisatesh sneezed. Virak spit on the ground. We're starting Chaf Dal Amud Beis 24b1. Umemashmish b'bigdon, handling his garment to remove a louse that was biting him. But he would not wrap himself in his talus when it would fall from his shoulders during the Shemona Esrei prayer. And when he would yawn during the Shemona Esrei prayer, he would place his hand upon his chin so to conceal his gaping mouth. Testimony is challenged. Meisvei, they challenged it from the following brisa: Mashmiya kolo b'tfiloso. One who allows his voice to be heard while reciting his prayer, harizek miktane amana. He is of those of little faith. Hamagbiya kolo b'tfiloso. One who raises his voice while reciting his prayer, harizek minaviyei hasheker. He is of the false prophets. Megayek umefayek. One who belches or yawns during prayer, harizek magasi haruach. He is of the haughty ones. So one who sneezes during his prayer, Shimon Ralo, it is an evil omen for him. V'yesh omrim, and some say, Nikoshu mechor. It is evident that he is a foul individual. Harak but so one who spits while reciting his prayer. Ki rak b'fnei hamelech. It is as if he spit before the king. The Gemara concludes this challenge. Bishlam and Magag Mufak Lokashya. Now it is understandable with regard to the Brisa statement concerning belching and yawning that there is no contradiction to Reb Chanina's testimony, for we can differentiate between them as follows. Kanla onso, here, i.e. when Rebbe did these things, he did them against his will. He therefore cannot be described as haughty. Kanla tono, but here, i.e. in the Brisa, we are discussing one who does these things deliberately. One who deliberately behaves in this manner is indeed of the haughty ones. Ela misatesh misatesh kasha. But there is a contradiction between the Brisa statement concerning one who sneezes and Reb Chanina's testimony regarding one, I Rebbe who sneezes. For the Brisa speaks disparagingly of one who sneezes during prayer, while Reb Chanina testifies that Rebbe himself sneezed while praying. The Gemara answers, Misatesh misatesh nami lo kasha. The Brisa statement regarding one who sneezes is also not a contradiction to Reb Chanina's testimony regarding one, I Rebbe who sneezed. Kan milamala. For here, I in Reb Chanina's testimony refers to a sneeze from above, I from the nose. Kan milamata. Here, I in the Brisa refers to a sneeze from below, I to gas pass noisily from the rectum. The Gemara supports this differentiation. The Amar of Zera, for Rav Zera said, Ha milsoy ivla li beirav hanuna. This following thing was made known to me in the academy of Rav Hamnuna, skiloli ki kule talmudai, and 24b2. And to me it is equal in importance to all the rest of my learning. One who sneezes from his nose during the prayer is a good omen for him. For just as they give him satisfaction below in this world, so they give him satisfaction above in heaven. We see that there is nothing wrong with sneezing during Shemona Esrei. Evidently, then, the Brisa must be discussing one who passes wind. So note 16. Sneezing is a source of satisfaction since it offers relief to a person, Rashi. Others explain this on the basis that sneezing strengthens one's limbs, Rabbeinu Yonah Ritva. The Gemara challenges Reb Chanina's testimony from another segment of the Brisa, Arak Kasha, but there is a contradiction between the Brisa statement regarding one who spits and Reb Chanina's testimony regarding one Rebbe who spat. For the Brisa speaks derogatorily about one who spits while praying, but Reb Chanina maintains that Rebbe himself actually spat during his prayer. The Gemara answers, Arak nami lo kasha. The Brisa statement regarding one who spits is also not a contradiction to Reb Chanina's testimony regarding one Rebbe who spat. Efshar k'd Rabbi Yehuda, for Rebbe may have done as suggested by Rabbi Yehuda. The Amar Rabbi Yehuda, for Rabbi Yehuda said, Hayomad b'tfilah b'nizdamin lo ra. If one was standing in prayer and saliva materializes in his mouth, Mavliyo b'taliso, he must discreetly absorb it into his cloak. V'im talis nahu, and if it is a fine cloak which does not wish to soil with spittle, Mavliyo b'afrikuso, he should absorb it into his turban. We may therefore assume that Rebbe did not spit upon the ground, but only absorbed the spittle in his garment. The Gemara cites an incident in which one disposed of the spittle in another manner. Ravina had a kol yachori Ravashi. Ravina was standing behind Ravashi, while the latter prayed in the Nizdamin lo ra. Saliva materialized in Ravashi's mouth. Paskei lachro, and he threw it behind him. Amalei, Ravina said to him, Lo savala ma'alahad Rabbi Yehuda. Does the master not agree to Rabbi Yehuda's ruling? Mavliya ba'afraksuso, that one should absorb the spittle into his turban. Why did the master do differently? Amalei, Ravashi said to him, Ana nida datoi. I am a person of delicate sensibilities, and I would be sickened by saliva in my turban. I am therefore permitted to throw it behind me. The Brisa stated, Amashmiya kol b'tfilos ha'arizeh miktani amana. One who allows his voice to be heard while reciting his prayer, he is of those of little faith. Gemara qualifies this. Amar Rav Huna said, Lo shanu elo sheyachol lechavenes libo, kalachash. Belachash. The rabbis did not teach this except in the case of one who was able to concentrate while praying quietly. Such a person may not pray audibly. But if one is unable to concentrate while praying quietly, it is permissible for him to pray audibly. However, these words are stated only in the case of one who prays alone. But in the case of one who prays with a congregation, even if he cannot concentrate when praying quietly, he may not pray audibly, since he will come thereby to confuse the congregation. The Gemara cites an incident in the course of which a law is taught regarding one who passes wind while praying. Rabbi Abba called Mishtamit Mined Rav Yehuda. Rabbi Abba would not enter the study hall because he was avoiding Rav Yehuda, the Havakabai Lemesak La'ara Yisrael, for he wished to go up to Eretz Yisrael, and Rav Yehuda forbade him to do so. The Amar Rav Yehuda, for Rav Yehuda said, Kol Ha'olam Mebavel Eretz Yisrael over Ba'asei. One who goes up from Babylonia to the land of Israel violates a positive commandment. Sheneber, for it is stated, Bavela Yuvo V'Shama Yu Ad Yom Pakti Yosem Nom Hashem. They shall be brought to Babylonia, and there they shall remain until the day I take heed of them, says Hashem. Let's look at note 27. The verse concludes, Then will I bring them up and restore them to this place. Although on the surface this verse discusses the Babylonian exile, which ended long before the time of Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Abba, Rabbi Yehuda understood it as referring to the Jewish people throughout all their various exiles, and as containing a commandment for them to remain in the diaspora until God gathers them together, Rabbi Abba. However, understood this prophecy as referring not to the Jewish people, but to the temple vessels, which are mentioned in the previous verses. The verse predicts that the vessels will remain in Babylonia throughout all the various exiles of the Jews. They will not be returned until the final gathering of the exiles. (24b3). Amar Ezel ve'eshma minei Muslim mibeis vada. However, Rabbi said, let me go and learn something from outside the study hall. V'hadar apik, and then I will go. Azal ash b'chelatana, diktani kamed Rabbi Yehuda. He went to the study hall and found there a teacher of Brises who was teaching the following Brisa before Rabbi Yehuda. If one was standing and praying and he passed wind, he waits until the odor from the wind passes from his vicinity, and he then returns to the place he led off and prays. There are others who say that the Brisa is stated as follows: If one was standing in prayer, and he felt an urge to pass wind, he steps back 4 amos and passes wind, and waits until the odor from the gas passes. He then returns to the place he was standing and prays. And he says, Ribbon Shalom, Master of the universe, you formed us with openings upon openings and cavities upon cavities. It is revealed and known before you our shame and our humiliation that we have suffered during our lives. And that at our end worms and maggots await us. He then begins from the place where he stopped. Amalei, upon hearing this Brisa, Rabbi said to the teacher, if I had come to hear only this thing, it would still have been sufficient for me. The Gemara discusses a case of reciting the Shema while unclothed. Tana Rabbana, the rabbis taught in their Brisa, If a person was sleeping naked but was covered entirely in his cloak, and he is unable to stick out his head because of the cold, he should partition his head from the rest of his body with this cloak by wrapping it on his neck. The Korah Kriya Shema, and he may then recite the Shema. And some say that he should wrap the cloak on his heart. The Gemara asks the Tanakama, and why does the Tanakama require that he wrap the cloak around his neck but not his heart? But according to this arrangement, his heart still sees his nakedness. The Gemara answers, the Tanakama holds that even if one's heart sees his nakedness, he is permitted to recite the Shema. The Gemara discusses how to recite the Shema in an unclean place. Amar Rav Huna, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rav Huna said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, if one was walking in filthy alleyways and the time for the Shema was passing, he should place his hand over his mouth. The Korah Kriya Shema, and he may then recite the Shema. Amalei, Rav Chisda said to Rav Huna, Halohim, by God, if Rabbi Yochanan had told me this law with his own mouth, I would not have listened to him. Another version of this episode. There are those who say that Amar Rabba Bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Rabba Bar Chana said in the name of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, if one is walking in filthy alleyways, he should place his hand over his mouth and he may then recite the Shema. We are on 24b4. Amalei Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda said to Rabbi Bar Chana, Elohim, by God, if Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi b'fumei, if Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi had told me this law with his own mouth, lo tzayes nolei, I would not have listened to him. The Gemara asks, and did Rav Huna actually state thus, that Shema may be recited even in a filthy alley? V'amar Rav Huna. But Rav Huna has said, it is forbidden for a Torah scholar to stand in a filthy place. Because it is impossible for him to stand idle without pondering Torah thoughts. If Rav Huna prohibits pondering holy matters in a filthy place, then certainly he prohibits reciting the Shema there, notwithstanding one's covering the mouth. The Gemara answers, Lo kasha, there is no difficulty. And here, where he is stringent, Rav Huna speaks of one who is standing still in a filthy place. Whereas there, where he is lenient, he speaks of one who is walking through such a place without pausing to stop. Having reconciled Rav Huna's two rulings, the Gemara now turns its attention to Rabbi Yochanan, in whose name Rav Huna sanctioned the recital of the Shema in a filthy place. Umi Amar Rabbi Yochanan Hachi, and did Rabbi Yochanan actually state thus? V'amar Rabba Bar Chana Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabba Bar Chana has said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Choma Kamotor L'Harei B'Divrei Torah. It is permitted to ponder Torah matters in every place. Chutz mibeis hamech, chutz mibeis hakisei, except a bathhouse and a latrine. This ruling indicates that Rabbi Yochanan would not permit reciting the Shema in a filthy place. The Gemara suggests an answer and rejects it. And if you will say that here too, the aforementioned differentiation can be made as follows. Khan speaks of one who is standing and still in a filthy place, Khan b'mahalech, whereas there, where he allows the recitation of the Shema, he speaks of one who is walking through such a place without stopping. Aini, is it so? Rabbi Abo have a ka'azal basrei to Rabbi Yochanan, but it once happened that Rabbi Abo was walking behind Rabbi Yochanan, Kari Kriya Shema, and who Rabbi Abo was reciting the Shema at the time. Ki mata bim mevos ha-mitunafos ishte. When they reached a filthy alley where Rabbi Abo paused and was quiet, Amalei Rabbi Yochanan. Upon exiting from there, he said to Rabbi Yochanan, Lehechan ad edar. To which point of the text should I return and resume my recital? Amalei Rabbi Yochanan said to him, Im shosu k'dei ligmar kula. If you pause the amount of time it takes you to complete the entire Shema, chazor l'rosh, you must return to the very beginning. From the fact that Rabbi Yochanan told Rabbi Bo where to return to, we see that he approved of Rabbi Bo's pausing. Thus, we see that Rabbi Yochanan prohibits reciting the Shema even while one is passing through a filthy place. The Gemara rejects the rebuttal, thereby reconciling Rabbi Yochanan's two rulings along the lines suggested above. In truth, Rabbi Yochanan meant to say to Rabbi Bo thus, Lididi los really. As for me, I do not hold that you were required to interrupt your Shema recital when we entered the alley, since we did not stop there, and it would have sufficed had you covered your mouth with your hand. Lididach desvirlach, but according to you who holds that the recital was prohibited there in any event, im shohisukade ligmar kula, I rule as follows: if you pause the amount of time it takes to complete the entire Shema, kazal rosh, you must return to the very beginning. The Gemara above recorded a dispute between Rav Chisda and Rav Huna with regard to reciting the Shema while passing through a filthy place. Rav Huna permitted it as long as the person covers his mouth, whereas Rav Chisda forbade it in all cases. The Gemara now adduces Tanaic support for each opinion. Tani Kavasa de Rav Huna. It was taught in a brayso in accordance with the ruling of Rav Huna. Tani Kavasa de Rav Chisda. And was taught in another brayso in accordance with the ruling of Rav Chisda. Tani Kavasa de Rav Huna. It was taught in a brayso in accordance with the ruling of Rav Huna as follows: Hamahalech b'mevos hamitunafos. One who is walking in a filthy alleyway, maniach yado al piv v'yikra kriya Shema, may place his hand over his mouth and recite the Shema. Tani Kavasa de Rav Chisda, and it was taught in a brayso in accordance with the ruling of Rav Chisda as follows: If one was walking in a filthy alleyway, lo yikra kriya Shema, he may not recite the Shema v'lo od, and not only that, elo she'im hayakoro v'o posek, but if he was in the middle of reciting the Shema and he came to an unclean place, he must stop. Since this brayso does not suggest the simple expedient of placing the hand over the mouth, it lends support to Rav Chisda's opinion. The Gemara asks, Lo pasak mai, if he did not interrupt his recital, what is thought of him? The Gemara answers, Amar Rabbi Miyasha bar Bered Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Rabbi Miyasha, the grandson of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, said, Alav HaKasuvom, our scripture says to him, V'gamanina sati lahem chukim lo tovim. So I too gave them decrees that were not good, and mushpatam lo yichyu b'hem, and laws by which they could not live. Rabbi Yasi Amar 24b5. Rabbi Yasi said that this verse applies to him. Ho moshchei ha'avon b'chavli hashav. Woe to those who pull iniquity upon themselves with cords of falsehood. Rav Ada bar Ahava Amar Mehacha. Rav Ada bar Ahava said that the description of this person is from here. Kidvar Hashem baza, for he scorned the word of Hashem and broke his commandment. That person will surely be cut off. His sin is upon him. The Gemara asks, V'im pasak maskaro, and if one does stop in the Shema, his Shema recital, when he enters an unclean place, what is his reward? The Gemara answers, Amar Rabbi Abo. Rabbi Abo said, Olav HaKasav Amar, scripture says of him, V'davar azet harichu yamin, and through this matter you shall prolong your days. The Gemara discusses whether one may recite the Shema if his torso is uncovered. Amar Rav Huna. Rav Huna said, Hosataliso chagurlo al masnav. If one's cloak was girded around his hips and covered him from the hips down, Mota Lukros Kriya Shema, he is permitted to recite the Shema even though his upper body is exposed. The Gemara cites a corroborating brayso. Tani nami hachi. It was also taught thus in a brayso. Hoiso taliso shel beged v'shel or v'shel sa chagura al masnav. If one's cloak of cloth, leather, or sackcloth was girded around his hips, Mota Lukros Kriya Shema, is permitted to recite the Shema. That is the end of Daf Chav Dalet, the end of page 24. Thank you for joining me. Hope you join me next time. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share. And let me know if you have any questions or comments. Thank you.